Let's go over some genetic terminology, shall we? Genes. Genes, by definition, are the tools that contain genetic information about a specific trait. A trait can be the shape of your nose. It can be whether you are at risk for Alzheimer's disease. Okay? An allele. An allele is also a gene. It's just a term people use when they're discussing the difference between the gene you got from dad and the gene you got from mom. So in that case, we're talking about alleles. You got an allele, a version of the gene from mom, and an allele, a version of the gene from dad. So they can be slightly different forms of a gene. A locus is where the gene is located on the chromosome, specifically. Homozygous, homo the same, zygous, from that first zygote we talked about earlier, is a similar pair of alleles. So they're identical alleles. So if you got the exact same allele from mom as you got from dad, they would be called homozygous. Heterozygous means different alleles. You got a different allele from dad than you got from mom. In our eye color example of an earlier slide, so you got a blue eye allele from dad and a brown eye allele from mom. That would be heterozygous. And then we have the concepts of dominant and recessive. Dominant means which one of those alleles will express the trait. So one is dominant over the other. One is recessive. It can be masked, covered up by the dominant allele. So again, this is not a literal example, but if it works for you, then let's go for it. If you got a brown eye allele from mom and a blue eye allele from dad, if the brown eye is dominant, when you are born, you will have brown eyes. The brown eye allele was the dominant and the blue eye allele was the recessive.